They don't want what we know out there.
How a person can go from really almost nothing to becoming a millionaire by owning rental properties.
He would always buy these flip houses, and I just remember thinking, this guy is crazy. Why would he buy that house?
In the past decade, there's been a huge surge in the peer-to-peer short-term rental market.
Become an insider. So you have to know the rules before you get the game.
Every second counts. So make every second count.
Welcome to the Real Estate Jam. Whether you're just beginning or the best of the best, we're glad you're here. We will share successes, failures, and strategies for the action-taking real estate investor. And now to your hosts, JD and Melissa.
Hey guys, welcome to the Real Estate Jam podcast. I'm JD and I'm flying solo today. Melissa's out at EXPCon learning from some big names. I think Grant Cardone was out there and a couple other awesome people teaching the EXP guys how to be better agents and hopefully picking up some value that we can apply in our business. She'll probably be back for the next episode. Today's probably going to be a quick one. I'm just going to run through a couple of Facebook questions or comments that I've seen recently and kind of break down the answer that I gave back to those guys. We've had a couple of big successes and a couple of what we thought was a failure, but turned out a better situation. We had in our business, we had a trailer that we got under contract and found a buyer for, but the trailers weren't title, or the title was lost for the trailer. So it took us a couple of weeks to get that situated out. We had to go through DMV to get the file for lost title and get everything situated so that we could convey a clear title to the buyers. And during that time, our buyer backed out, lost $1,000 earnest money deposit, and we were able to remarket the property and put it under contract again for $5,000 more than we had it originally. So what we thought was going to be a loss of a pretty good wholesale fee ended up paying us a little bit extra for the time and effort we had to spend on it, which was a great thing. That's pretty much it for the big successes that we had this week. So I'll just kind of jump into some of these Facebook questions and start off. It says, I've been developing my real estate skills for 6 months and I had no luck wholesaling. I set a goal for myself to have $10,000 profit by the end of the year. This group shows me it's very possible, but I'm aware I'm obviously stuck. I wholesale in Atlanta, Georgia and Jackson, Mississippi area. Maybe I can chat with a wholesaler in those areas on tips. Now, the first thing that I ask somebody who has been trying to wholesale for 6 months and hasn't got a deal yet is, one, what kind of marketing are you doing? How are you finding these people? How are you qualifying the leads? What does that look like? You need to be very specific, especially when you first start out. You're probably not looking to spend a lot of money because you don't really have any proof of concept. And without that proof of concept, it's hard to get into it. So you're either going to spend money, you're going to spend time, and sometimes it's going to be both. It's not easy. Even when we bring an acquisitions person on to our team, we tell them it's going to take them between 60 and 90 days to get their first deal. And that's with us providing all of the leads, and they just have to do follow-up. And usually with our first couple acquisitions deals, we go in, either me or Melissa, and do the talking, we'll do the negotiating, build the rapport, and we'll either put the offer in and just have help from the new acquisitions rep, or we might even just have them go out and take pictures for the property and then kind of slowly build them into that. And even doing it like that, 60 to 90 days before they see their first commission check off of one of the wholesale deals. And I think when you're starting out, it's even a little bit longer than that. It's going to take a little bit longer than that because you don't have any of these leads in the pipeline. You don't have a team that's working them for you. So really, when you're looking at it, you have to make sure that you're doing the effort, right? You don't want to be the guy that's building the better business card constantly, because you might have been doing that for 6 months and not actually talking to sellers, not actually putting in offers. The next part of that is, how many offers have you put in? The industry standard is somewhere around 10 offers for one contract, and contract to fallout rate is somewhere around a 30% fallout, so 70% close rate on those. So when you're looking at that like that, you really need to be putting in a lot of offers. And if you're not getting a lot of leads and you're not actually talking to people, you're not going to see a lot of the deals like some of these big wholesale operations. The other thing I think too is putting a timeline on your ability to raise or to earn $10,000. Really, $10,000 should be about, maybe one bad deal or two really bad deals to get that, to net that kind of profit. But if you're not talking to people, if you're not putting in offers, you're not going to be able to solve the problems. So when you're starting out, you need to do something that puts in a lot of time, probably a lot of driving for dollars. If you're trying to do it virtually, you can, but you're going to have to be marketing to these people with some sort of paid marketing, or pay somebody to set up bandit signs for you and field those phone calls. So the question that I have for this person is, how many leads have you talked to, and how many offers have you made? And I'm waiting for the response, but I'm sure it's not that many. If she had put in 50 offers on qualified leads, then she's gonna get a deal in there somewhere. And if she hadn't, then you just got to keep on going. And as long as you're not shelling out a ton of money for office and overhead and VAs and all that kind of stuff when you're starting out, and you can take your time. But I think people get a little bit discouraged when they've been doing it for 6 months and haven't seen any results. And I would just say that you need to make sure that you're not judging yourself based off of somebody who started the race quite a bit before you did, right? Like everybody struggles at certain points. We had 2 months this year that we didn't have a single wholesale deal come in, and we're spending a lot of money on marketing. But then, we turn around and we get a whole bunch right in a row. It's just kind of the law of averages. And I think that the more people you talk to, the more offers you put in, the better your chance you're going to have of getting your first wholesale deal. And if you don't put in offers, I can guarantee you're not going to get a wholesale deal. So that's all I got to say about that. The next question we have is running into an issue when it comes to code violations. I've called and asked for the list, but they are stubborn in giving any info. Do you have any suggestions? So code enforcement is a niche list that we do pull, and it's something that took us a little while to get to the right person, and it took us a little while to figure out the right way to ask the questions. So you really need to look into what that is. If they have code enforcement hearings at the courthouse, you can go in, sit in on those, and listen to it. And that'll give you some good contact information on who the people are in those offices. And really, at the end of the day, those people in those offices are going out and trying to find properties that have these violations, and they're putting the fines on them so that those violations get fixed. So if you go in there from a servant's perspective, trying to help the city, help the homeowner, help everybody solve the problem that's causing the city to give them to give them these code enforcement violations, people are going to be willing to help you out. But some of the questions that you're asking might be wrong. When you go in and you talk to the code enforcement and you ask them for a list of all code enforcement violations, one, you got to realize that they're city employees. They get paid by the hour. They're not there to serve you specifically, they're there to do their job. And this is just one additional task that they're going to have to do. So they're not going to be super willing to do that to somebody that they've never met before, somebody who doesn't have a good rapport, somebody who goes in and gives them attitude. That's the exact wrong way. A lot of times that first person that you talk to is just a gatekeeper. They might not even have the information or know about the information that you're asking for, but they're going to tell you, So if you go in and you know what you're talking about, and you know you're allowed to get that list, right? But you're still getting pushback, you can always ask to speak to a supervisor, do it politely, try to make friends with these people. The same way that you build rapport with sellers and buyers is the same way you need to build rapport with the city employees or the county employees that are holding the keys to this information, right? See if you can help them out and try to develop a relationship with them, and they're going to be more likely to help you. Now, aside from that, one of the things that you need to know about, and you should probably do some research is the Freedom of Information Act. A FOIA request is what you're looking to do, and you can submit a FOIA request to any government agency that has public information, which code enforcement violations are public information. Now, some places that we go to get these, they make us pay for the list. Some people, some places just give it to you in a printout. Some people just give it to you in a PDF document, and then every once in a while you'll find some good one that'll give it to you in a spreadsheet that's organized. But usually there's a lot of list scrubbing that you're going to have to do. So the answer to that is how do you get the code enforcement violation list? Is you go in, you make friends with them, and you figure out how to do the FOIA request. Now, each government entity has its own way. Some counties have their own department that is strictly FOIA related, and you can contact them. Otherwise, when you're speaking to the supervisor, you can ask them, hey, what's the proper way for me to put in a Freedom of Information Act request? And they're going to tell you. Now, for us, we've done that. We've gone through that whole process. So now, once a month, our office admin assistant goes in and has a template email that is sent to the same person every month. They should know that it's coming. And it has either the FOIA request or the email template that we've been requesting. And sometimes we have to pay for the list, and sometimes we get it free. Then we get that list back, we scrub it and start marketing to it through all the different marketing channels that we have. One of the answers that came in on that question was what I would consider a spammer. They say, hey, we have great source. You can come in and message me and I'll send you the link. And so he sent the links, and all they're doing is pulling data that's already been out there. It's old. Anytime you use these third-party sources to get this information, one, that information is old, and two, if they can sell it to you, they'll sell it to anybody else. The best way to use that code enforcement violation is when you get it right away and you get it direct from the source. That's going to be your best source of code enforcement violation stuff, is right from the county courthouse. And I think that, especially starting out, if you're asking, how do I do it, then you're probably not pulling a whole lot of deals right now, and paying for these leads that are paying for this data that's old and not skip traced and doesn't have the right information is probably not as beneficial to you as learning the process and how to actually do it, so that you can teach your team members later on and move that task to them, and where it's you decide how much it's going to cost by how much you pay your employee, as opposed to paying it directly to somebody who is getting you old data anyway. Okay, so the final question, this one's a little bit longer. So it says, thinking about the whole process of wholesaling, what motivates cash buyers to take our deals? Couldn't they very well find these deals on their own? Do we save them time and resources by sourcing these deals for them? I'm trying to build my confidence more by getting a better understanding of my role as a wholesaler and the value I can bring to cash buyers, especially those with pockets deep enough to buy many properties at whatever price. I hope this makes sense. One, I guess, you have to be confident in what you're doing if you want to be successful. It's something that I've struggled with on and on. It's something that a lot of other wholesalers and real estate investors struggle with. But the direct answer to this question is why, the question of why would a cash buyer take our deals instead of going out and finding them themselves? Well, first off, anybody that tells you that wholesaling is super easy is probably not telling you the truth, right? It takes time, money, energy, effort to find the data, search the data, find the homeowner, contact the homeowner, decide whether or not they're a motivated seller, bring that motivated seller into your funnel, figure out how to solve their problem, and negotiate a price that works for you and also works for them. That's a really hard task to do. It's almost its own separate business apart from real estate investing. It's a marketing and acquisitions business, and then fix and flip or buy and hold are contractors with a certain set of skills, or landlords with a certain set of skills, property managers with skills. And when you're looking at it like that, that these people who are really good at one thing, fixing houses and selling them for a profit, or really good at fixing houses and renting them out for a profit, when you're talking to these people, they would have to stop what they're doing and completely focus on setting up their own acquisitions business. And even though a lot of people think of it as just a real estate investment company, there really are these different divisions inside that company that almost operate completely by themselves. And to learn the information, it takes time to learn the information. It takes time to put it into effect. It takes time to receive the feedback, time and money to receive the feedback on what's going right and what's going wrong. And then not only do you have to do all that, you still have to put food on your table and make money doing the actual fix and flips, or doing the property management and the landlord stuff. So I guess the real value that we are able to provide these other business owners is a product that they can't go out and get on their own. It's not easy. They don't have time. They have to spend their time managing contractors, picking up materials, managing the job site, making sure that the tile guy's not staying there on the same day that the cabinet guy's there, and that all of that's done after the electrician has put the proper wiring in. They don't necessarily have the time or bandwidth to go out and learn how to do this brand new. And really, some people just don't like it, right? Some people, especially in the construction industry, they're not the best people persons, and they don't really have the ability or capacity to learn how to build rapport, establish a relationship, find a problem, solve the problem. They just need to make sure that their crew guys have a project to work on so that they're not going hungry for Thanksgiving. And that's really how wholesalers kind of have this niche, because you don't have to, if you're solely wholesaling, you don't have to worry about any of those other problems. You can just turn up the marketing dial, speak to sellers, make offers, get contracts, and then push those contracts to your buyers. I think that this is a good question to kind of understand, but at the end of the day, if you're just starting out, it doesn't really matter, right? You don't need to know why a flipper will buy your deal. You just need to know whether or not they will. You need to get the property under contract for a price that they can afford, and then you sell it to them. And I think that you might have to worry or sell yourself to a brand new flipper or a brand new buy and hold guy why they couldn't just go do it themselves. And if you have to do that, you probably need to upgrade your buyers list, but two, it's just because they're inexperienced. The best fix and flippers that we know, the ones that we've dealt with, they don't care what profit the wholesaler makes. They don't care how much it costs the wholesaler to get the deal. They're just making their offer based off the numbers that they have. If the wholesaler makes $3,000, great. If the wholesaler makes $40,000, great, because the numbers still work for that person. One of our mentors talks about him getting a property under contract for way more than he should have, and then marketing it to his guys, to his list, and one of his buddies putting an offer in, a full price offer, no inspection period. And he called them and said, "Hey man, this is a really high priced property. What's the deal?" And the guy told him, "I've had my group of contractors out of work for 3 weeks while we're looking for other deals. And they told me if I didn't have a project for them within the next 30 days, they were going to start moving on to different general contractors. So I need something for them to do. Even if I take a little bit of a loss on the profit side or just break even, if I keep them going until I can find my next good deal, that's going to work out better for me in the long run, because finding contractors that are good, reliable, and are going to make you the priority is difficult in almost any market. And once you get that hold on that contractor, you don't want to let it go. As far as finding your buyers that have the deep pockets, if the deals are good and they're serious buyers, their pockets don't have to be deep. They'll be able to find a way to get the cash. If your deal is good enough, they're going to be able to get it. I think that the biggest issue is that this person is still trying to see everything instead of just going out and making offers, contacting homeowners and making offers. That's the most important thing. If you're trying to find all these pieces out, just get something under contract first, and then let's start worrying about how we can provide value to the buyers. And you know what? If you get a property under contract that's a little bit too high, you can either renegotiate or cancel the contract. I still think that that's a better experience for you than if you're not making offers at all because you're worried about whether or not your cash buyer is going to find value in the service that you provide. So that's it. And I will follow up with these guys on Facebook. Hopefully they take some of that information and use it. And if not, everybody's opinion on Facebook doesn't really matter anyway. Hey guys, if you found any value in this episode today, please give us a like and share us on Facebook. We're really trying to build our audience, and we need some help. Some 5-star reviews would be great. A 1-star review if you want, but just get some reviews out there for us. It doesn't take long if you just click it on the iTunes or podcast player and click on it and do a review real quick. That'd be a huge help to us. And if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to us on Facebook, either the Real Estate Jam or Shorefront Investments, and we'll be sure to answer or any questions you have. And we will also make sure that you have a direct line to either me or Melissa. And we're hoping in the future to get some of the Facebook people that follow us to come on the podcast and talk about real estate. So if you know anyone that would be good for the podcast, make sure you send them our way. All right, guys. I'll see you later.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Jam. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information, check out our website, therealestatejam.com. Or find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Real Estate Jam. If you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email at therealestatejam@gmail.com. See you next episode.